Guys, here we are back at Nutrition Science. Our next unit is food labels, and we're going to do a little bit of basic work today and then kind of build this into an activity. So if you take a look, this one is called Figuring Out Food Labels and has a little bit of information about food labels on here. And to roll through some of this with you, it just says as a consumer, so that's you guys buying something, right? You can learn a lot from the nutrition labels placed on food items, right? And those are there to be tools for us to use, and the rules and regulations that are in place are to help us make informed decisions. So it says here, labels can help the consumer in many ways. It lists the ingredients in a product for whatever reason you may need that, lists the nutritional value, compare the food products, right, because you can compare one label to the other, and then determine how to fit the food into a healthy diet, or if it even fits at all, right? So you can get all different information on the different nutrients and if there are additives or not. So today's food label rules and regulations, they're developed by the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, and also the Food Safety and Inspection Service of the United States, which is part of the Agriculture Department. So everything is set up to try and make things easier for us. So we have current food label requirements, right? They include things like that everything needs to be in a universal form. So I can look at any different type of food, but the label is set up the same way, so you can't hide information or try to make it confusing. In fact, if you look at food labels from other countries, you'll see that form of the label is similar to ours. All right. Then we have this big one here. Any health claim must be supported by scientific evidence and approved by the Food and Drug Administration. Right. So you cannot just make something up. I talked to you guys about this, like, and hopefully I'm not saying the wrong brand, but I believe it was Cheerios. They were running a commercial that said Cheerios help kids who eat Cheerios help score better on standardized testing. And then the FDA kind of said, after they were running the ad, like, where's that research? We never saw it. And what they did was they took information that said kids that eat breakfast score better on standardized testing, and they kind of manipulated their wording into Cheerios. So the FDA got on them, and they had to do a retraction, and they said kids that eat a healthy breakfast score better on standardized testing, and Cheerios can be part of it. So the government is there to try and protect us. So serving sizes are standard. They represent a usual serving. That one is kind of like a tough one because most of us do not eat the serving size. We eat portion sizes, which are usually larger, and for some of you, much larger than the serving size. But it is standardized, so like when you're later this week, you're going to look at and compare cereals. So you can't have a serving size of one is 2 cups and the other is 1 cup. How can you compare those numbers? And then you're over here doing math and trying to figure things out. So that is standardized. The percent daily value, that's based off a 2,000 calorie a day diet. Whether that's realistic for you or not, that's a whole nother story. But the percent daily value is just basically saying that if I eat this food and it has this many grams of carbs based on a 2,000 calorie diet, what percent of my daily carb intake is this food? All right. The other thing, it has an ingredients list on it, and the question is always, why is it in that order? And the answer, why is it in that order, is it goes by the most amount of the food to the least amount of the food. So if sugar, for instance, is one of the top foods listed, there's more sugar than those other ingredients. There's always an address or phone number in case you have questions. This is also important for people with different food allergies, so they can find out. Some people's food allergies are so sensitive that they can have a reaction if the food was packaged in the same place as their allergen. So, exceptions to the rules, right? You don't have to have ingredients if it's coffee or spices, because that's what's in there. If it's a sample size, like when you get your Halloween candy, the nutritional info is on the big bag, not on each individual Snickers or Tootsie Roll or whatever that might be. Ready-to-eat foods prepared on site, you don't need to have labels, fruits, vegetables, fish. Again, those are the only ingredients in there. So that's kind of just some basic info. And what you're being asked to do today is to look up these terms, and they are actually legal definitions. Um, so you can't, ooh, look at that typo, guys. You're lucky, I'm fixing it. Um, when you look these up, just make sure that in your search bar you're typing in like on a food label, because if you look up healthy or lean or light, you're going to get a different definition. So you have to say like what is light on a food label, and then you're just being asked to try and match that up with the definition below. All right, guys, that's it for today. Get this done, turn it in, and be safe out there. Have a good day. See you next time.